welcome to another episode of Pep Talk on the Joe Maxwell Show. I am your host, Joe Maxwell. Today we have two topics that will be split across two segments, and I've got some interesting guests on set. But before I welcome them today, take a look at who they are. Welcome back, guys. So now that you know who our guests are, I think it's about time for us to get to know a little bit more about them. So welcome, guys. Thank you so much for joining us today. You're looking beautiful and smacky.
Thank you.
Yeah, loving the colors. Thank you very much. You look very graceful. Thank you so much for coming today. So just to sort of help our viewers to know a little bit more about you, because I know we kind of put a bit of you out there. I'm just going to pass over to Bolakale. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hello, I'm Bolakale Omidiji, mother of two wonderful children, a business analyst by day, and then when I'm free or not too busy, I'm trying my hands on event styling. I do personal shopping, but I'm trying my hands on event styling. So when you have a wedding or a party and you're looking for who to call,
give her a call. Thank you, Bolakale. Over to you, Funmi.
I'm Funmi Osilaja, piano by day, wife and mother of three beautiful kids. Just had a baby, he's 10 months old, keeping me up all night.
Oh dear.
So had they had up high than it's been today, really. I think what I do is, or what I love to do is motivate people. I like to empower people. I like to make people believe or have self-confidence in themselves. So I'm basically passionate about that. So mentoring people, motivating people is what I do.
Thank you. That's amazing. Hopefully you might be able to help some of the fathers over here now as we're about to talk about them. Thank you so much, guys. Right, so on to today's topic of the present but absent father. It's an interesting one. And I say it's interesting because it's something that's happening a lot. And I think we probably don't even notice that it's happening. Yeah. But I know, based on the fact that a lot of us probably grew up in that environment where you cannot reach your father's like a god in the house. I think it feels like it's kind of coming down to this generation, and we need to kind of talk about it and find a way to ensure that we manage that very well. Yeah. So we know that it's definitely not something that we can carry on doing. And when we say present but absent fathers, we're talking about the consistent and the persistent behavior that communicates to a child that they are not worth the parent's time. Most of the time, parents do not consciously think about this, but children have a great intuition and are able to pick up that their parents' moods and feelings are different. Whether you tell your child that they are a nuisance or you simply act like one, the effect is always the same to a child. We're about to find out why we do have fathers that are present but absent. Right. On this note, I think I'm particularly passionate about this because I think growing up, I never really had a dad there, so I can't even say he was present but absent. He was absent, end of. It was absent, not present, not anything. But I think for the benefit of couples that are married, we will focus mainly on the ones that are married for now. And I guess the first question really that we should try to understand is, why are fathers absent-minded in the household? I'm going to pass over to you, Funmi.
I think when we're looking at why, we need to sort of look at or try and expand on that definition of a present but absent father. For me, really, a present but absent father is someone that is physically there but can't offer any emotional needs of that child. And I'm a total believer in we are who we are because of the way we have been brought up. Our behaviors are learned, they're not taught. It's what we've seen around us, really. Definitely. So in an African family, growing up, your dad is there to just provide, really. Provide shelter, provide food. I can't remember when you talk to friends, thankfully I had sort of a different upbringing, but when you talk to friends, it's not normal. It's an exception for your father to say, I love you. It's an exception for your father to give you a hug. What's that all about? He's there to provide. He sits in his own corner, in his own space.
In his private chair.
Yeah. And the mom is meant to nurture, really. So a father is not really seen as a nurturer. It's the mom that is there to nurture. And I think that's why our husbands or men now are really absent, because that's what
they've seen, that's what they know.
You said something very fundamental there. it's learned.
Yes.
So our men have grown up watching their fathers, and their fathers have always been, available in the sense of you have a roof
Provide.
over your head, you go to a very good school,
Yes.
you're comfortable.
Yes.
I'm not
What
expected
else?
to do anything more
What else?
for you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
This doesn't necessarily mean that they do not care, but their way of showing is
It's
somewhat
different. It's
And
different.
you often hear fathers say, I love you because you have a roof over your head. You're going to the best
Private school.
Why do you think
Provided
I don't
for
love
you.
you?
Yeah.
You know, so that is their definition of love.
But having said that, though, I don't think in all instances it's these men's fault.
No.
So, I mean, there's instances where it's a case of, I'd rather not be in that environment because there's more negativity coming from some women. So he comes and makes sure the place is comfortable. Are the children okay, so I'm just going to go to the bedroom now, or I have a meeting after work, so I'm not going to be here right now.
So I think that will be taking us to a different topic, because I'm inclined to disagree with that statement, because I think most of the time when women behave that way, it's off what we receive from them. So I kind of disagree with that. But again, there's always two sides to every story. But without sort of going into that, I guess the next question would ask now, would like our viewers to know is, are there any consequences? What are the consequences? Apart from the fact that we know that you grow, you learn, and then you become what your father is. But in terms of the psychological effects that he has on a child, are there any? And if yes, what are they?
Psychological effects. A year ago, my husband and I were driving and we were listening to this radio show. So I know a lot of us tend to focus on just psychological effect. We'll come back to that. But what he was actually saying is, children outperform when they feel emotionally balanced at home. So it doesn't only affect psychological growing up, it's everything.
No, pretty much, yeah.
When they feel secure, when they feel confident, they push more. So here we are telling kids, study, learn, do this. If they don't feel emotionally, that their emotional needs are being met, then forget school. It's not going to happen. So that is a big part of it. As African parents, we're big on, I want you to be decent. If you're not meeting their emotional needs, I'm sorry.
They're not there.
It's going to set them back a lot, really. And if studies are showing that, it's something we need to start paying attention to, especially growing up in this society where we do want our kids to excel.
And then to answer the psychological question, you find that there are loads of kids that are not confident enough to do things with their mates at school because they feel like there's something lacking in their, in their own lives. So they're in school, and then their conversations going on about how their dad did this, they did this at the weekend with their dads, and you find the child that is generally just quiet, thinking, what am I supposed to say to this? Does that mean there's something wrong with my life? Does that mean there's something missing in who I am as a person? And then generally shuts them down.
They shut down.
So
there is, it's interesting that you said that, because there's also, I think we'll have two types of children. There is that kind of goes, and there is the one that will just, well, actually, I think there are three. There is the one that, okay, I don't have it, I'm just going to blag you through. I'm just going to, I'm just going to make it up and just, and it's something is eating them up within them.
I don't even think it's so much of them thinking I'm going to make it. It's more of, well, he's not there, I'm going to make sure he knows that I don't actually
need him there,
which isn't necessarily out of the psychological realm. It's still a psychological effect.
And I think for girls, maybe it might be different for boys and girls. For girls, there's that huge sense of rejection. And the effects are far-reaching when a child feels rejected. There's self-confidence, and then you see there are girls where a man says I love you, and
then that is it.
So it's far-reaching, into adult life. A girl never feels pretty. A girl never, because no father has really said you're beautiful.
Beautiful. I love you.
What you're wearing.
Yes, and just celebrate her.
Father.
You
should be able to compliment your kids. And I don't know about you. There are fathers that feel more comfortable complimenting their son as opposed to the daughters.
Because they don't want their daughters to be exposed to,
and feel that you're
good
looking. This is what. But I think it's important. That sense of rejection. It does affect us.
And is it true that when you feel that way as a child, then you tend to seek for that
totally
elsewhere? So let's talk about that. Let's talk about the side effects of feeling rejected. Because I think we need to know as parents, what are the side.
So from a girl's perspective, if your father has rejected you, the first man that somewhat seems like interested in who you are becomes like the almighty man.
Yes.
He's the one that you want to give anything.
Everything.
He wants.
Everything
So God
to-
forbid he's the one that asks for you to be a bit physical in the first instance. Because he has said he loves you.
Which your father never does say.
He has said he loves you. He has made himself available to you.
Then
You're
you give him
thinking, why
everything.
not?
Yeah.
Why not? At least he loves me.
Yeah.
This is somebody that loves me. And then everything he offers to you.
Think about it. As a woman, I need constant affirmation. That's how we're built.
Yeah.
So I don't know why we feel like kids don't need
Constant affirmation as well.
If my husband doesn't affirm me, I'm a secure woman, don't get me wrong, but there's that thing.
We always still want them to tell us that you're beautiful. You're,
So a child will seek that constant affirmation, and it doesn't have to be relationships. It could be just a child throwing themselves into work, because that's what they feel best at. So then other things suffer. So work is, your career is progressing, and then it becomes a vicious circle. Because then the home life suffers, because you're throwing yourself into wherever you're being affirmed. So it could be your boss affirming you, you're great at what you do, the rest suffers. It could be a man affirming you, you're great at what you do, the rest suffers. So constantly looking for affirmation wherever you can get it.
So let's flip it. So we've talked about the girls one because we know it's very key. We've got to talk about the impact of it on the sons.
So looking at it from a man's or from a boy's perspective, then it becomes a case of, it could go two ways. That man has never been there for me, and then he's aggressively loving his child, somewhat to the point of choking. Or it could be a case of, well, if that's what men are supposed to be, I'm going to be exactly like my dad. And then he starts, and then he's not very good with being who he, a man, he grows up and there's a repetition of what his dad
What is that?
be.
So let's think about...
twist into this. I've often sat down and wondered, why are African men never able to say no to their moms? Could it be the fact that they've never really been affirmed, and they feel like because their dad hasn't affirmed them, he probably hasn't with their moms, and he wants to give their mom.
That's a very interesting question.
Because you can't, as a wife, you realize it's not because the moms have been loving as the Caucasians, but they are very, very attached to their moms. So could it be the fact that this man never affirmed us? He probably hasn't given you the love.
And the mom has always been there.
I will give you everything as a detriment to my home, even my wife.
Absolutely.
It just affects
it does. There's another angle that I want us to look at about when it comes to boys, and maybe some girls as well. So of course we need constant affirmation. We need to know that we're beautiful. We need to know that we belong in this house. And when we don't get that, we tend to, I think maybe, so I haven't heard of any recent, but we then tend to gang up with people outside, and because we believe, in my house I have no voice, but you know what, I'm going to have the voice outside.
How does
agree.
that play into this?
So if you live in a
I don't think it has so much to do with the present or absent child. I think it's just a case of a child that feels, like you say, he hasn't got a voice, and then he's lucky to be the kingpin in the midst of his mates.
But think about it this way: if if you're not meeting a child's emotional need, one of his emotional needs might be talking, having a voice. It's about meeting emotional needs. So emotional needs are not necessarily cuddling, because some guys don't even want to be cuddled. It could be, I just want to talk to you. I just want to talk to you. I just want you to tell me how your day has been or my day has been. So a boy that maybe one of his emotional needs is really engaging and you haven't given him that, he would look for other people that would talk to him and make him feel like he has a voice.
He has a voice. So let's twist this a little bit, because I know you guys both have a fantastic relationship with your dad. So I'm not even sure whose example to kind of be. So I think I'm going to pass to Funmi. Just tell us a little bit about the sort of relationship you have with your dad and the impact and how that's really helped you.
Anyone that knows me knows that I'm all about family. My family is everything. And I think it goes back to being a child. So I lost my mom when I was 15. She died of cancer, and I will always say my dad is a fantastic man. So my mom died, my dad stepped in. My dad would do things like, my dad taught me how to cook. He would do things like, set a table for us.
That is a present.
Yes, he was totally present.
Yeah, that's a trophy.
My dad gave up. He was a director at Shell. In those days, imagine how he was. He traveled all over. Port Harcourt today, Lagos tomorrow, Kaduna tomorrow, day after. But he gave up all that to spend time with us after we lost my mom.
This is amazing.
And for me, very unusual. My dad didn't remarry until, you know, about 10, 15 years after I lost my mom. So his focus was on
you
us.
guys.
And you can see
that
we have
missing. That is a big thing.
Exactly,
Totally.
exactly. And for me, it's had an impact on me because when I was choosing a husband, I wanted a man that was
like your father,
present.
Another big problem we have there.
I wanted a man that was present, you know, and it doesn't. And I was going to say, it doesn't mean that we women are forever present as well. You know, we need to bear that in mind.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, I looked for a man that would be present, someone that would be able to meet his children's emotional needs. So for me, I didn't feel any rejection, I didn't feel any neglect. So that made me have an informed decision when I was choosing what I was going to look for. So I wasn't looking for a player, a cool guy, a nice guy, just looking for a family man, one who would love his kids and love me and give up everything for us.
That's interesting. Thanks for sharing that. So I think my next question will be now to find out what are the signs, and I'm going to pass that over to you, Bolakale. What are the signs to look out for when we're starting to become absent within the household? And I think this again is for both mothers and fathers. This is just the signs that we have to look out for to know that we are becoming absent-minded in the home.
I'm happy you said that. It's not just for the dad, because we know of a few moms that are getting that get really busy with life. So once you start to feel like you're extremely busy, when you start to think everything is more important, and you get home and you can't detach from work, there's an issue. When the kids are demanding for your attention, when it becomes a case of, Mommy, we haven't spoken today. Mommy, can we have 5 minutes of your time? Mommy, I need to tell you something really important. The minute you say not now, check yourself.
And you know, it's so funny because even though you know you're telling them not now, you know you're doing the wrong thing. But it's just, how then do I detach? Just give me 1 minute. But that 1 minute then turns to 1 hour.
And then it becomes a case of, she's not going to listen to us anyway. Let's just go away and do what we want to do. I think we need to pay attention to ourselves, what is important to us. No matter how important anything seems, nothing is as important as
we're still looking at the things to look out for. So
I mean, generally speaking, I mean, if you start to think that your stress level is too high, you're extremely stressed, you're unhappy, and you come home and you're feeling like life is on top of me, you know, I feel like those are the kind of fundamental signs to look at.
I totally agree. And I also, I know people might disagree. I feel when you're constantly spending time on your phone, it is a big sign to look at.
So generally, social media was the bane of our lives.
I know, and people get upset with me because I'm not into social media. I have made a conscious effort.
Guilty.
Because I make a conscious effort because it just pulls you in. There are advantages and disadvantages. It means that I can't really sell myself and be out there. But I just feel when I get home.
If it makes you feel better. I'm on social media and I don't sell myself.
Oh well.
So, it depends on what angle you're coming from.
So I think technology has a big role to play in this absent.
But you know, back in the day, it wasn't even technology; it was newspaper. This always
was something or file from work.
So I'm just going to add to the point. So there is the fathers or parents that don't say I love you. I think that's a sign. You find it so hard to kind of give hugs and you know, find out how's your day been, have communication, or even paying attention to your child's you know, body language and how they respond to some of your some of the answers you
body language. That's a good one.
I think that's you know, I think that's a key one. And I think Bolakale mentioned about how if you're stressed about things and you can't engage, you're just constantly
and I totally agree with you, Bolakale, on that, because I think it was a couple of years ago I realized that anytime I got into the house I was constantly screaming because it was a stressful period for me at work. I probably had deadlines I made a conscious effort. So every time, it sounded silly. Every time I got to the door, I'll give myself a 1-minute pep talk. Funmi, don't snap, don't, be happy, blah, blah. And I'll drop my bags and just cheer up. So it's just really constantly reminding ourselves. Because to be quite honest, there is no manual for being a parent.
Thank you so much, because I think we've said a lot, but we haven't said it all. Because I'm sure some of our viewers are thinking they haven't mentioned this, they haven't mentioned that, and that's probably one amazing thing about this show. We just keep talking, and it feels like we cannot say it all. But if you haven't learned anything at all, I think you need to believe and know that it's important to ensure you love your children, you show them that you love them, and you tell them that you love them. I think sometimes as well, when you're wrong, don't be afraid to say you're sorry, because they always take these things from us. And that's it for us on this segment. When we come back, we'll be talking about ageism and marriage. Right, welcome back, guys, to the second segment of today's episode. Now we're about to have a little bit of fun, talking about something a little bit less tense. On the topic of age and marriage, have you ever heard a guy say to you, I don't want to marry her because she's old, or I can never marry an old woman, or no, she's too old for me, I like those 21-year-old fresh from the boat? Does that irk you? Because it drives me up the wall. Now we're about to find out. We don't have men on set, but we're about to find out. We're trying to delve into their mind to see what is going on their mind. Still with us today is Funmi Osilaja and Bolakale Omidiji, and let's talk. So ladies, on this topic of age, I mean, for me, what does it even mean when somebody says to you, oh, I can't marry older women? It's an African thing. Let's think about the Nigerian men right now, because it just drives me up the wall. And it's like, I'm like, if she has content, what age is nothing but a number.
You need to realize with African men, it's the optics. It's not
okay.
Content.
No, but you know what? I don't. Okay.
Well, if a man is choosing a life partner, really, they don't want, most men, you get attracted to what you see.
I always say that. People always say, no, it's not. The first thing you see is how they look. Okay.
I'm not saying that older women are not attractive.
Okay. Be careful, girl. Be careful.
Well, it's about the optics. Really.
Okay.
They want to go out, and their friends are saying, oh.
Okay, so
sorry. From what I'm hearing.
I'm hearing that as well.
It's my fault.
Exactly.
How can I compete with a 21-year-old?
Girl, you can't compete. Hold on. I disagree. Guys, have you not seen some Instagram posts that they go, mom and 2 children, and you couldn't even tell who's the mom? Like, who's the mom?
Most often than not, they're all airbrushed, my dad.
Girl, stop.
Excuse me.
So I've seen some real life situations that you're looking at them and thinking,
who is the mom?
I know you. I know I went to school with you, but no.
But generally speaking, honestly, younger women are more attractive.
Sorry.
Generally speaking, I'm not talking about facially.
Okay, so is it because? Okay, hold on. Is it because the men think that the older you are, the less boring you become?
I think what you're saying is that men are fickle. Is that not?
Well, most men African men can be fickle.
Okay.
African men.
So that's the reason. Okay.
They can be fickle. So we talk about the optics, really. Especially, let's talk about a man that probably has just recently been widowed or divorced.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking for a girl to make them feel good.
Okay.
Let's say you're only as old as the girl you're feeling, really. So say a 40-year-old man, he's just recently been divorced. He's not going to go and look for it.
Okay, sorry. Can we just...
He's going to be looking for...
No, chill. Yeah. Let's be clear here. I don't want to deal with the divorcees or the widowed.
Okay.
Let's talk about a 40-year-old man.
Just meeting that's never been married.
Why are you still single at 40?
Yeah.
And then why are you demanding a
I think that's the thing.
When you're 40, you've never been married and you're trying to prove to me that you're responsible.
Unfortunately. Okay, let's look at another angle. I think by nature, African men are domineering. It's all about the ego.
I like that point. I really like that. I think that's probably the key reason.
It is a key. Well, one of the key reasons, really. So an older woman is set in her ways. They want to. They probably have a thriving career. They have the money of their own. You're not bringing anything to the table as far as they're concerned. All they want is love and companionship.
Yeah.
So
but that's the thing. You want love and companionship, but then they want maturity as well. Not to say the younger ones are not matured, but then
they want a woman that would esteem them. that will be in awe of men.
Every
man wants
that. Is.
An older woman is probably thinking, why should I be?
Well, not necessarily though.
Not necessarily, but generally speaking. So a younger girl, you take her out to go and you probably spend £70 for dinner. And you've done something amazing.
Not really. No, listen. I don't agree. Okay, guys, let's change this a little bit. I know you're both married, but just assume you're not married and you're looking. Would you date or would you marry someone younger than you? Think about it.
Give me 5 seconds.
Okay. Funmi?
No.
I probably wouldn't.
You're not even up for me.
I have to think about it. I probably wouldn't.
You wouldn't? And why?
Because I feel they'll be immature.
Okay, so I think
that is, you know,
we're not going to disagree with that, right? We're just going to take that. Okay, fine.
And number two, I'm probably going to look for a man
to cater for you, to take care of your needs. So it's very strategic, right? Okay, that's fine.
Might not be able to do that.
We can take that. We definitely can take. How about you, Bolakale?
So at first thought, I'll say no. But thinking about it properly, based on the point you've made, I could possibly marry a younger man. Because you find that there are loads of young guys now
that are doing so well.
That are doing so well.
And they're matured as well.
So matured. And they will lock me down, as in every angle. So, you know, I think it's too generic to say yes or no. This is not a one-size-fits-all.
It's not a one-size-fits-all.
The younger guys, I mean, I have a younger brother. And I've seen some of his friends, what they're doing and how well they're doing. And we're having conversations sometimes, and I find myself just going,
okay, but those younger guys want you, is the question.
Girl.
Yeah. well, that's give me a high five. For me, that's shade right there. So we're going back. No, but I like that. But you know what? But I kind of like the way because she's taking us back to the question. Yeah. So in terms of why African men don't like to marry older women, we're not talking about the younger man or the older man. It's just in general. You're right. You're very right.
A younger man approaches me. I'm thinking it's probably, and I might be wrong. I'm probably thinking he's probably checking out a younger girl. It's just the way we are.
Yeah.
It's not natural.
So what can we do?
His mom is probably telling him which kind of oldie.
Yes. Don't bring it. No, this one is too old for African parents.
So,
You
know what? For me, that point brings me back to the question: why do men want younger girls? For one, they want to be sure they can
have children, bear them children.
They want children. They want to be in control of the household.
Exactly.
They want to know that when they talk, they're going to listen.
Exactly.
As it stands, when a man marries a woman 2-3 years younger than she is, anytime she changes a little bit, so because you're now making money,
yes.
So because X, Y, Z, so is it because of? Yes. You start to hear that a lot, but generally speaking, they want people that would listen to them. People that would respect.
I would know women of nowadays, this independent women that we're seeing. Oh, child. Okay. So we're going to ask another question because I'm sure our viewers are thinking, oh, come and ask this question. In terms of, so we know it's a stereotype. Whoa, it's a stereotype, right?
Yeah.
How, as we women, older women, how can we, I say older, I'm 25. I say older. How can we as older women, or how can we all change? What can we do to help the guys so this stereotype can be changed? Apart from the fertility aspect.
Okay, that you have no control over, do you?
Not really. I don't agree with that. I don't.
Staying fit, being healthy, you know, take care of yourself.
You've got control over that.
Then that you have control over. The way you look is your responsibility.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So if you take time out to make sure you look presentable.
Absolutely.
I mean, it doesn't matter that I've been married for 10 years or close to 10 years. I still want my husband
you should still have this smoking, you know.
I want him to think,
yes.
She's sexy.
You know, I want him to say, where are you going just like
I think that's so key.
If we take care of ourselves, for one, we're selling a product. You're a product.
She said she's selling herself. She's a product.
Yes. As well as taking care of ourselves, I think we need to stay current as well. I think as older women, you know, the things that younger men find interesting become boring to us. You know, the other day I was listening to trap music. I was thinking, what is that? What is this?
Girl, I keep myself very updated. I make sure I do. Trap music is like, it's like 2 years now.
Yeah. I'm even doing better.
Help me out here.
Exactly. You need to stay current.
I'll listen to
No, listen. I agree with you. I agree with you.
And it's probably
I agree with you. Yeah, I have a friend who went to a party recently and they were playing. It's even a Nigerian current song, and the song has been out for like months, and she had it on a story, and she was like, I didn't even know this song existed, you know, but obviously the young generations and she was probably feeling like, okay, what's going on here? So you're right, we need to stay current. We really need to stay current.
It's not only about the physical, as well, stay current, you know.
Yeah.
And again, I think you need to make yourself available in the places that younger men go.
Mm-hmm.
For example, all the women, you know,
we're always at home. We just want to read the book. We're not a bit boring.
I want to go home, so we are very boring.
We're thinking older single woman, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I mean, socialize with people, hang out with people that
network with the right people.
Step out of your comfort zone.
Mm-hmm. Don't say no 10 times. I mean, he's not going to come knocking your door to say, hey, I noticed you've been sleeping at home the last day. How about I change numbers with you? So I think we need to stop, I don't want to go out, it's stressful getting ready, because you just never know. You just never know. So yeah, I do agree in terms of staying current. Girls, listen, we're going to have to cap this right here.
Really?
We definitely need to cap this over here. That is it for us today. As you know, we all, we can keep talking and keep talking and keep. I love talking, and if there's nothing at all that I love about just talking, especially with women that are, they got something up there, is the conversation never ends. It just never ends. And I'll tell you what, on the Joe Maxwell Show, it just never ends. And that's it for us on this segment. If you think that things that we haven't talked about, we haven't discussed, join this conversation. Leave us a comment. # the JM Show. Let us know the things that we haven't talked about. If there's anything you want us to talk about topic-wise, drop us an email at info@joemaxwellshow.com. Before the end of the show, we'd always like to know what our guest pet peeves are. And I'm about to find that out now, because you know what? I always like to know the areas, like the line not to cross. So we're about to find out what Funmi and Bolakale don't like, and we call that pet peeves on this show. So over to you, Funmi. What are your pet peeves? So what is? I'm not going to say what are, because I don't want you to give me a long list of I don't like this, I don't like that. So what is that one thing that just irks you?
I don't like pretentious people.
Okay.
I can't really stand it. I want to know that what I see is what I get. I don't want you to be a certain way in front of me and behind me a certain way.
Else,
I can't do friendship where there's no openness and honesty. I can't even do any relationship, friendship, marriage where there's no openness and honesty, really. And I think with friends or with women, where we tend to lean on each other and share, innermost thoughts and secret. I can't do fakeness. It's just a no-no.
So true.
I'm all for that. I'm all for that. Bolakale.
Pomposity.
Oh, we know pomposity.
I'm like, are you being totally arrogant with me?
Hold on, you know what? There's this thing that I'm seeing, like, how people often feel like, oh, I don't want to celebrate myself. Oh, I don't want to. Hold on, let me finish. Hold on. No, I'm saying that because I read up on something recently where somebody was saying, if I don't celebrate myself, who else will celebrate me, right? And then to somebody else, they probably look at that and think, is it just you? Why are you all over the internet and breaking the internet? I scroll up, is you. I scroll down, is you. For some people, that could be pomposity. Like, why are you showing off yourself? Let your work speak for you. But at the same time, you kind of feel like, well, I'm sorry, if you can block me, But it's almost, I agree with the pomposity because I can't deal with it.
But you're setting and you're talking, and then it's all about how you have done so well for yourself, how you're still doing so well for yourself. Listen to other people.
There's a thin line. You know what I mean? There's a thin line.
And it's like a borderline.
Yes, you guys have heard it now. So when you meet Bolakale, you better stay humble, because she's going to shut you down. And with Funmi, you've got to be an open book. You've got to be what you see is what you get. And that's it for us on today's episode. If you have any questions, like I said earlier on, and you want us to answer, please feel free to drop us an email at info@thejoemaxwellshow.com. And until next time, I am your host, Joe Maxwell, on The Joe Maxwell Show.